Welcome to Econ 317. In this instruction video, we'll continue working with the budget set. So again, we will have this video on the budget set. And now I want to come up with a more formal general description of the ingredients of the budget set. So for two goods, let's say good. The first good, I will call it as good X. The second good, I will call it as good Y. And they can be apple, orange, any name, but we will have good X, one on the horizontal axis, that is good X, and good Y on the vertical axis. And then X and Y denote the quantities of good X and Y. So typically, quantity of the good X, I'm denoting as X itself. And if it is apple, orange, or things which we can measure in pounds, it will be in pounds. Similarly, quantity of good Y will be Y pounds. So this is X pounds, this is Y pounds. Okay, the second information I need is the price of good X. I'll write it as P subscript X. Price of good Y, I will write it as P subscript Y, and then the income at hand to be I. Given this information, we can write down the equation for the budget line following the three terms which we had seen before. Money spent on good X is the price P of X multiplied by the quantity X. Money spent on good Y price of Y, P subscript Y times Y. And then the total money spent is the sum of these two, P subscript X times X, P subscript Y times Y, and the budget line will have the income exactly equal to the total money spent. PXX plus PYY equal to income. If we want to go to the graphical representation of this budget line and the corresponding budget set, again I will draw good X on the horizontal, good Y on the vertical, and we can check the maximum amount of good Y this consumer can buy is I divided by price of good Y. The total income spent on good Y will give us this quantity. The budget line is straight line with the maximum amount of good X the consumer can afford being equal to I income divided by price of good X. And we can check the slope of the budget line which is the rise over run, the formula for the slope, and we can check it turns out to be, first the slope is negative, you can see the budget line is downward sloping, rise of good X over price of good Y. So this is the general description of budget set for two goods where we have used notations rather than numerical values. So price of good X, P subscript X, price of good Y, P subscript Y, income I. One could make the budget set more general because it need not be the case that we buy only two goods. So for three goods, I will just make an extension. The third good I will denote by G. Three goods case. So I have good X. This is quantity as well as the name. Good Y, quantity as well as the name. Good G, quantity as well as the name. And the price is P subscript X, P subscript Y, P subscript G. No change in notation for income. So I will keep writing income to be I. Given this information, I could write down the mathematical expression for the budget set and budget line for the three goods. Price of good X times X. This is the money spent on good X. Price of Y times Y. This is the money spent on good Y. Price of G times G. This is the money spent on good G. Equal to the income. This is budget line. And budget set by making this equality to be less than equal to. So just to complete this, I will write that 2 P subscript Y, P subscript G times G less than equal to income. This is the budget set, where we know X is non-negative. We do not buy negative quantities of X. Similar for Y as well as G. But this three goods case helps us think about budget sets which are more real life. In our real situations, we would be buying, I don't know, 10 goods, maybe 15, could be even larger. So I will write down instead of 3, 4 or 10, let's say budget set, budget line for n goods. N could be 2, 3, any number, any integer, positive integer, finite. So I will have now the notation I want to change because it could be more than 26, so alphabets will not be useful. So let's say good 1 I will call x1, its price p1. Good 2 I will call x2, price p2. So let's say good and price. We go on and on till we reach xn, the last good, and its price being n, pn. Income, no change. I have income as before, I. So now I can write down the budget line for the n good case. P1 times x1. This is price of good 1 times the quantity of good 1. Money spent on good 1. Money spent on good 2. We go on and on till we hit money spent on good n. So I have taken care of all these goods, and that being equal to the total income at hand is the budget line in the n good case. Obviously, for goods 3 and above, we will not be able to draw a budget line in a graph. But the mathematical expressions do not add any new complexity. They follow the same form as we had for the two goods. And this is a good point to stop.